After spending the morning of the first day of March 2026 on the Norfolk Southern Pittsburgh Line, I traveled over to the Norfolk Southern Harrisburg Line at milepost HP 103 in Hummelstown, Pennsylvania at the Railroad Street crossing that afternoon. I had come earlier in the day around 9 o'clock, but my luck had run dry as there was absolutely nothing in the area. After getting lunch at my grandparents' house, I arrived back in Hummelstown around 1:45 to the site of a clear aspect at Controlled Point Burke on Track 1. Temperatures have risen since the early morning, now just above 40 compared to 30, with most of the cloud cover gone. After around 20 minutes of waiting, the lined train came into view as it rounded the curve. The conductor gives a peace sign from onboard Norfolk Southern 11K, the daily Croxton, New Jersey to Conway, Pennsylvania manifest, with a diverse range of General Electric power on the head end. With 4 locomotives up front, I was surprised to see a 5th serving as a mid-DPU. After all 5 locomotives and 130 cars passed it, the defect detector at milepost HP 103.3 gave its usual no defects report to 11K.
Norfolk Southern, milepost 103.3, track 1, no defects. Repeat, no defects.
It wouldn't even be 30 seconds before a restricting aspect popped up at Burke on track 2. I assumed it was for Norfolk Southern 11N, so I headed back to the car to wait for the signal to upgrade. Around 2:15, I hopped out of the car to check the signal status. As I crossed the tracks, I saw a triangle of headlights and the crossing bells activated, so I pulled out my phone as quickly as I could and began recording. This train was not 11N. In fact, I had no idea this Norfolk Southern 963 even existed. (963) was taking the offline high-hood GP38-2 over to Enola, Pennsylvania from Allentown, Pennsylvania, with the crew planning to get a ride back to Allentown on Enola to Allentown Manifest, Norfolk Southern 30A. (963) slows to a stop just before the Duke Street crossing in compliance to the restricting aspect, a special rule in effect for this part of the Harrisburg Line that essentially treats a restricting aspect as a stop and proceed. The conductor tones in the Harrisburg terminal dispatcher on the radio and asks about how long they would have to wait for a more favorable aspect. The dispatcher quickly gave them a medium approach at Burke to cross over and follow 11K to get out of the way for eastbounds coming from Harrisburg. With 963 now off of Track 2, Norfolk Southern 26X was lined off of the siding at Controlled Point Beaver with a slow clear. I had already seen this train on the Pittsburgh line, slowing to a stop at Controlled Point Banks to wait for another train to finish building in Rutherford Yard. Now 3.5 hours later, with Rutherford work complete, 26X gets up to track speed to continue the final leg of their journey to Croxton with a shortcut of 22 cars. The defect detector at milepost HP 105.0 gives a no defects report to the crew of 26X once the final car passes it.
Norfolk Southern milepost 105.0. No defects.
The engineer gives one long blow of the horn for the camera after the head end passes the crossing. 103.3 defect detector also gives a no defects report to 26X after the last car passes it.
Norfolk Southern, milepost 103.3, track 2, no defects. Repeat, no defects.
I was unaware of any other trains in the area, so I decided to head over to Enola to check out the aforementioned 30A. As I left town, I heard Norfolk Southern's 6K4 call clear at Beaver and saw it gliding over the old Derry Street Bridge moments later. With no way to beat it back into town in time, I cut my losses and continued toward Enola. The train had nothing incredible on it anyway. When I got back to Hummelstown around 4, a clear signal was displayed on Burke at track 1, this time being for 11N. The train arrived not long after I did. 11N had the same power I caught on eastbound counterpart 18N the day before at this very location, although reversed, with a shorter cut of cars compared to 18N, totaling in at 91. As 11N rounds the curve in the distance, I packed up my equipment and headed back to my grandparents' place to wait for 30A to depart Enola. By the time it did so, however, it was well past dark, so I did not catch it.